When you first launch Photoshop, it will display a home screen. This home screen will help you to create files that you want to work with. Your home screen may does not look exactly like mine. The first time you launch Photoshop, you might see messaging in this area, or you might see a link to the tutorial, or update note like what's new in this version. If we want, we can always hide those suggestions by clicking here. You will also notice that we can drag and drop images here to get started. And once we start opening some files, we will see all of our recently opened images in this area. So let's start by opening a file. To open a file, I will click on the Open button. Let's navigate to the exercise files. Now, as soon as I open the file, the home screen will disappear. But if we want to access the home screen again, we can click on the home icon in the upper left. Then, if I want to return to Photoshop, I can click on Photoshop icon. If I close the document, we will see the home screen again. And now we can see recently opened document here. Alright, to create a new document, let's click on Create New. And we have a number of different options here. We have a Recent and Save option, as well as number of task-oriented document preset. So, for example, if I click on Photo, I see number of different presets. If we switch to Print or Art and Illustration or Web, we will see presets based on the common file sizes for those tasks. I will return to Photo. But let's say I don't see the preset that I am looking for. Well then, over on the right hand side, we can enter our own width and height. In this case, we can make a preset for future use. Let's put 5 by 8 inches. We can change orientation here. We also can change the unit of measurement, resolution, color mode and bit depth as well as background fill color. If I think I am going to use this preset file size over and over again, then I will click on the save icon. I'll give it a name. In this case, it will be 5 by 8 inches. Then I'll save the preset. Photoshop has automatically switched me to the save area here. To open this, I just need to double click on it. For now, I'll close it. If we want to create new, we will find this under the save area. As you can see, there is several quick and easy ways to open new documents, save preset and open file from Photoshop using home screen. Now let's become familiar with the Photoshop interface. Let's first open an image on Photoshop. To open an image, we can use File menu. Let's navigate to Exercise file and open it into Photoshop. Now on the top we can see all of our menu items. They are grouped together by topic, such as everything to do with layers or with typography. Then all of our tools are going to be on the left hand side, and when we keep our cursor on the top of the tool, it shows us tip or use of the tool. It's very helpful when you are new and learning Photoshop. Alright, when you select a tool, the tool will appear on the top with option. Now in the center is a preview area where we can see the photo we are working on, and in the lower left is the status area. If we click on that, we can see more information about the image we are working on. If you click on the little arrow, you can also change what to display here. As we can see, there are many panels on the right hand side. Your skin might look different than mine because maybe you have rearranged the panels by yourself, or Photoshop might have arranged the panel differently based on your skin resolution of your monitor. I would suggest that you reset your panel by using Workspace Picker. Now if you move your panel, you will need to select that again and choose to reset the essentials. Alright, if you don't like the way Photoshop is looking, you can choose a lighter or darker color theme for Photoshop. To change color theme, we can use the preference under interface. So we have 4 different color themes. A very darkest color theme to the lightest one. I would recommend that you use one of the darker interface, just because it's good for our eyes. Alright, I'll click OK. And if you want, you also can change the color that surround your image by just right click on it and then selecting either from the list or choosing a custom color. For now, I'll go ahead and leave it at the default. Alright, if you don't know the tool that you are looking for, don't know where to find it, you can always use a Photoshop search. So, under the edit menu, you can select search or just use keyboard shortcut command Ctrl+F. And then you can start typing what you are looking for. So let's say, for example, you are looking for the blur tool. And as you start typing, you get a lot of different options here. So you get option in Photoshop, learn content, stock content and Lightroom photos. So if you just wanted to look in Photoshop, just click on Photoshop. Then just click what you want. If you click, it will actually take you to the filter or the tool. For now, I cancel out of this. One more important thing to remember, if a tool is not behaving the way you think it should, you can always right click on the icon for the tool from the toolbar and reset that tool. Alright, as you become more experienced in Photoshop, you will find that you will use different group of panel for performing different kind of tasks. As you can see, Photoshop have different workspace that you can select. But if you want, we can create our own workspace. We can rearrange panel. And I will start doing that now. I would right click on it and choose to close or close the tab group. I also don't use this, so I close the tab group. In order to save this as a workspace, I would click on the workspace speaker and then choose a new workspace. We'll just call this my workspace and click save. Now if I hide a panel or if I close some panel or rearrange panel, if I ever need to return to that workspace, I can simply select the workspace speaker and then choose to reset that custom workspace that I created. Alright, we will also spend a lot of time in Photoshop switching different tools. Almost every tool has a shortcut. For example, the Move tool has the shortcut of the V key. So if I press the V key, it automatically selects the Move tool. If I tap the M key, we automatically select the Mark U tool. Now if you don't know the keyboard shortcut for a tool, you can hover over the tool with a tooltip. You can also see the keyboard shortcut that's assigned to the tool by just clicking and holding on the tool. And if it has a shortcut, it will appear to the right of the tool's name. Tools that have little arrow right here tell me that there are more tools nested underneath them. When you click and hold, those tools will come out. And it's interesting to notice that all of the different lasso tools have same keyboard shortcut L. So if I tap the L key, I'll get whatever lasso tool is selected. For example, if I switch to the polygonal lasso tool and then I tap something like the M key to get Mark U tool and then I tap L again, it will give me whatever tool is sitting here on top. So how to get the other tool with shortcut? Well, I need to hold down the Shift key and tap the L key in order to cycle through all of the tools that have the same keyboard shortcut. That's it for episode 1. In the next episode, we will discuss working with multiple file, panning and zooming and others. For now, stay tuned.